I'm going to hit this record button so we can send this out afterwards. So if you don't want to
thank
feel,
you.
if you don't want to feel pressured to take notes, I think most of you, this is really a refresher.
I've done it. I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right.
Right. So,
are we going to do this from zip forms, or do we have to?
No, so we're going to be starting from like just taking the documents and putting them into digisign. So you already use zip forms. So basically
Yes.
what you're going to be doing, and I'm going to talk in general about it. So I'll wait just one more minute till, because I have quite a few people on here.
Okay.
7, I still have a couple people logging in. So I'm going to talk about zip forms. I'm not going to log into zip forms, but I'll talk about it. And then you guys can obviously ask questions. And then have Jenna and Mercedes on here too, if you guys have direct questions about actually submitting paperwork and things like that. And my phone is making a really strange noise. Okay, so let's see.
So Jen, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Like if you have a document that's not in zip forms, that is just like the form that you need to fill out, and it's not already filled in and has like all the done spots for the digisign, can you do that?
You can pretty much load any document in, but the only thing is that it has to be complete, like the form has to be completely filled out minus the signatures before you load it in. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so, and I will talk about that because that's where .loop is different than digisign and people get confused. So I'll go over all that in 1 second.
So then,
all right, I think, go ahead.
Is there another class then that helps you fill out a form that is
Well,
not
zip forms was
forms?
the class that the girls did last week, which is where all of our documents are. Have you been in zip forms, Jen?
Yeah, no, I've done that many times, but then there's always that one form or something that you need that's not in zip forms and you still need to fill it out. And
so as long as you're filling it out wherever it exists, and then if you bring it, you can bring any form into DigiSign. You can upload any form into DigiSign and then opt for the digital signature. Like something like that, if you needed like individual help, like for, you know, if you had a specific example, like any one of us can talk you through that.
So basically, it just you need to get something into a PDF form. That's what
exactly. And really, it should be just as simple as like file save as PDF, and then loading it into DigiSign.
Gotcha.
So what I'm gonna show you guys today is just a couple of forms, because there's every form, you know, is a matter of just putting in the boxes and whatnot. So I'm just demonstrating a couple of forms because there's no reason for me to go through 17 pages. We'd be here all day. So every form you'll see, you can tweak like where the signature boxes go, if you need check boxes, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna start. We got 20 people on, so that's good. All right. So obviously you guys, welcome. If you have, I think most of you are muted. If you're taking phone calls or anything like that, please mute yourself. Otherwise I can mute all, but I kind of want you guys to be able to ask questions as we go along. Jenna and Mercedes are on the call for any specific questions about paperwork. I'm gonna take you guys through just a live example of how to do DigiSign with a couple of forms. You know, basically, most of you probably start in zip forms and create those documents. And then you're basically saving those documents that you need for digital signature on your computer. So that was last week's class, was taking you through zip forms, saving your files as a PDF form, putting them on the computer. So we are starting from pulling those forms off your computer and putting them into DigiSign for digital signature. Okay, and I'm gonna go, any general questions before I start, and then I'll go live. Anybody? Okay. And if I'm going too fast, you guys just tell me to back up, or, you know, tell me what you need. Okay. So You're going to start in Ravis 365 and you're going to click on Sky Slope. And then you're going to click on the digisign button. So remember, your forms are already completely filled out, saved as a PDF on your computer. Make sure, this is very important, those forms, they have to be 101% filled out. Because it's a PDF and you're loading it into DigiSign, you cannot go back and say, oh my God, the seller's name is spelt wrong, and change it once it's in DigiSign. That you cannot do. So these need to be perfect forms ready to go, okay? Once
Can
you
I ask
click
you a
on-
question?
Yeah.
What if you need to change the binder like types?
So who's talking right now? Sorry, I'm not sure.
Lisa, sorry.
No, it's
Lisa.
okay. So this is one of the lovely things that we battle. If say you guys have the forms, you get them all signed, and something comes back and you need to make a change, you need to go back to the original document in zip forms, make the change, reload it to DigiSign, and get it re-signed.
Got it.
Okay, so that's where, if you guys are using dot loop is very different in that regard. Dot loop will allow you to make those changes within dot loop, drop the signatures, and allow you to resend it fairly easily. Unfortunately, DigiSign does not allow you to do that because the templates don't originally exist in DigiSign. So that's why I'm telling you guys, and I know like it's practically impossible probably to have a perfect document, but you need it to be as perfect as possible just to, you know, make it less work for you guys. So if it is a binder that comes back with 42 changes, you'll need to go back to that zip form document, make the changes, reload it back in, and send it out for signature. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So you're gonna click on the DigiSign button. It's going to bring you to this next spot. And you guys are gonna click on the top here where it says new envelope, okay? Once you click on that, it will bring you to a page where you could possibly see some of your current listings or current binders. Now, Jenna, just to clarify, they don't, even if it is relevant to one of their properties, they don't have to click on that, correct? They can just go with the no property? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's easier just, guys, even if one of your properties is showing up in the bottom here, just click on the top no property. You can always put the documents into that property later. So this just makes life a little bit easier. So you're gonna click on no property. And it's gonna bring you to this next screen. And this is where you guys are gonna upload the documents that we talked about. So the PDF files that you have that you need to get digitally signed, you are going to find them on your computer, wherever you save them. It's easier to obviously make a folder, know where to go to find that folder, and you're gonna click on the appropriate documents, okay? So I'm just gonna bring in an exclusive right to list. Now you guys would obviously check off however many, you know, documents that you need to be digitally signed. If you, for ease of use, you could upload one big document, you know, with 20 pages worth of the sign requests, the exclusive right to sell, you know, all the, you know, what the lead disclosure, or you can upload them individually. It's up to you guys. You're going to click on open.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Lisa, again.
Yeah.
Is
Go ahead,
it,
Lisa.
is it probably better to do them individually?
I actually do find that it's a little easier to go individually.
Because then if you're sending them and you need to change things, it's better if you do it individually.
Exactly. So that's actually a really good point, and I think I would go as far to say, definitely I would encourage you guys to upload them individually. To Lisa's point, which is an excellent point, if you guys need to change out a binder, or change something out, it will be easier for you to do that individually. In zip forms, when you're exporting out those documents, will give you that option. It will say save individually or save as one big file. So just save individually, and then you'll bring in those appropriate documents that you need for signature. Also, a benefit to putting them in individually is that some forms have a template. And what that means is that the template will put the signature boxes in the appropriate places, which alleviates a lot of work on your part. If there is no template for the document, you have to put your own signature boxes in. So on a sign request, you're not going to be able to pick a template, but there's like 2 signature boxes, so it's like super easy. But on an exclusive right to sell, there's check boxes, or there check boxes, but there's signature boxes and there's initial boxes. Sorry, brain's not working right now. So when you pick the template, it will put all that stuff in the appropriate places, so it's super easy. So what I'm going to show you right now is that document got loaded in. It then comes over here on the right, and it gives you that option to choose template. So you guys will go in each one, and you can decide, okay, this one has a template, this one doesn't. As you use this more often, you will see which ones have templates and which ones don't. So this one definitely does. You're going to click on choose template. You can filter out the choices by starting to type. So just make sure that you read through them, because you're going to find an exclusive right to sell, listing agreement for Greenwich. Clearly that's not what we want. We want the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, Connecticut exclusive right. You're going to click apply. And once you click apply, you're going to click done. And you'll see it's been applied, because now it gives me the option to remove it, but we're clearly not removing it because we need it. And then you're going to click next now in the top right hand corner. Once you click that next button, you guys need to put in who's signing. So obviously you're in your account. It's going to have your name and your email address associated with the account. And then it's going to give you the option of who needs to sign. For whatever reason, it's defaulted. It has like automatically 3 boxes in here to put in signatures and names. Okay. So I'm only going to have 1 seller sign. Obviously, if you guys have 2 sellers, 3 sellers, you're going to fill that in accordingly. One important note to make: every single person that you put in here must have their own email address. If it's a husband and wife and they share an email address, that does not work. So you can't duplicate it. It's 1 email address per person that is signing. Obviously, if they have no email address, this would never work. But I ran into this a couple of weeks ago with someone. It was an older couple. They share an email address. Unfortunately, if both their names are on the house, this was not going to work for them. Okay, so just make sure you have a valid email address for everyone. Even if you're only going to be sending to 1 person, you still need to uncheck these other boxes. So when you uncheck that box that says remove recipient, we're going to uncheck again. We're going to keep the 1 seller here. And you're going to fill in their information. Okay. And then over here on the right, it will tell you, you can actually order your signing group. So who signs first, Alan, Jen. You could actually determine who needs a signed copy of the document. If you needed to add another signer group, you can do that. In most cases, you don't really need to send these in order, but some people might. You do have that option. I'm going to leave it as is. Sorry, gotta click off that box. And then once you guys just put in who's signing what, you're going to click next on the top right hand corner. Now here's the fun part. So anybody that's used .loop before or used this system before, this is where the documents, you need to go through them and make sure that the boxes are in the appropriate places. And if you hadn't applied a template you now need to apply those signature boxes. So you're basically going to scroll through, and before, when I was kind of running through this by myself, digisign was very slow in loading, so hopefully I won't have that issue. But you guys will note, like, I had already preliminary filled out, this test document. So you'll see, like, I cannot make changes to the dates, the prices. So that's why I was saying, when you put this in, you want it 99%, good. So once you scroll down, you'll note that the seller's initial box is, had already been filled in. I have a touch screen, so sorry, I just put that there by accident. And if you want to, even if you applied a template, you need to review these documents, because sometimes something random could be in a random spot and you can move that around. So you're just going to scroll through, you're going to make sure everything's correct. Seller initial box is okay. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. All the initial boxes are in the right place. Keep scrolling. And
Bless you.
And you'll see, guys, that the signature boxes are all laid out already. The date boxes are all laid out. So perfect example, say Alan needs to sign right here on the bottom. Okay, so actually here we go. So it actually put Alan's box right here on top of mine. So I'm going to move it down. You're just clicking and dragging it down. Okay, once you click on signature up at the top here, we can add another signature box, and you just move it to the appropriate place. So now that's for me, so I can actually change it to Jennifer. Same thing with the date. I need to move that down, and I am going to add another date sign. So you're going to click here on the top. I'm going to put it right here, and it knew that it is for me. So again, granted, these test documents are obviously not in perfect shape, but you guys get the picture. These sometimes can get confused. So before you go and shoot this off to a client, you want to make sure that all these things are lined up, because you don't want something to come back after spending an hour filling it all in and the husband signed where the wife should have signed, because to undo it is not that easy, as we talked about in the beginning of the class. Once you guys get this all in working order, you can then, so you guys are going to go document by document. Obviously, I'm only taking you through one document, but every document's the same thing. If you had loaded in 5 documents, it would just be a continuation, lining up all the signature boxes, any check boxes, anything that you need, initial boxes, anything that you need. Once those are done, you could be going through 20 pages, you could be going through 1 page. It's all the same procedure. You're going to click send in the top right-hand corner. Once you click send, it will give you the option to rename the subject. You can put in instructions for the client, whatever you need to say to them, or you could simply send it as is. And then you're going to click this button, send for signatures. And I would get an email. My husband would get an email. They will sign appropriately. And then I believe you get an email back saying everyone has signed. And that's it. I'm not going to click the send button because my husband will be like, what the hell is it? But you guys get, you get the idea. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute just so I could see everybody. Let me know, and we can go back, but any question? That's it in a nutshell. Obviously, it's pretty easy once the documents are loaded in. Clicking the different signatures and whatnot can get, sometimes if you click in a spot where you're not supposed to click, it'll show up. That little red hand, it'll give you a little red X. You just X it out if you accidentally clicked and added something extra to it. And I can show you that example as well. But before I go in to do specific questions, what are the questions, I guess? Anybody have any questions or comments?
Good. I do.
Jen?
So you said before that you should upload the documents separately. But when you send it to your client, does it go all together, or is it going to send individual?
No, it's
email?
going to go all together to the client.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because that would be annoying to get five
No,
different-
the client
yeah.
won't get 42 emails from you. No, no, that would be a nightmare. No,
Yeah.
So you want to load them in separately for you guys, just for
Okay,
ease of
got
use.
it.
But the client will get one big file. Okay, and then
Perfect.
they'll be able to click, 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 and the client probably won't read it and just go click, 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 and you're good. Okay, who else? Was it Eileen? Did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're
I'm
good?
good.
Okay,
Got it.
okay. Anybody?
I have a question.
Hi, Al. Yep.
How long should this take to, say a listing document, all the 6 pages or whatever?
Like, how long should it take for you to get it back from the client?
No, how long should it take to do all these boxes on there?
Well, if you're applying a template, I don't know, it should take maybe 10 to 15 minutes to go through the entire thing. It shouldn't be long. But
Will
if you had,
show up on, say you have a whole listing packet, would the boxes show up on every packet as you do it, or?
so
do you
Jenna
have
can
to-
probably attest more to this than me, but I would say yes, most listing documents have templates, correct?
That's correct. The only ones that won't are the property disclosures and the sign request form, like Jen was saying before.
Right.
So can you send those electronically still for signature or without?
Yes.
Yeah, you
just-
can send it. It just won't have a template. So you'll have to put the signatures where they need to go.
need to go.
Can either of you show an example how to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I'm going to go back. All right. So let me get out of here. I think I actually thought I had a sign request form in here. Hold on a second. Okay, guys, so it's going to be, so basically it's the same thing, okay, but I'm going to put in, I'm not exactly sure what's in this file, but I think there's a sign request. So basically, let's pretend we have no template, okay? So whatever forms you're loading in, we have no template. So you load it in, and where we chose a template before, you're going to leave it alone, okay? And you're going to go to the next button. You got to do the whole signature game again. I'm just going to leave it as me. So we don't, just for ease of use. And here we go. So here we have a sign request form. So if we've got no template. So we've got no boxes here yet. So we need to do checkboxes. Where are my checkboxes? Checkbox. Let's do checkbox. And if you just click, it'll give you the checkbox, and then you click again, and you're gonna give it, so basically, wherever you click, it's gonna give you that checkbox, but then you just hold it and drag it to the appropriate spot. Now, whether you need these or not, I'm just showing you an example. When you scroll to the bottom, you need Jen and Alan's signature. So we're gonna click on signature at the top, click. I'm gonna move me over here. Signature again, click again. And where it says who signs here, I'm gonna change that to, I can't see because of the way my computer is. I'm gonna change that to, oh, I'm sorry. Alan, I didn't put Alan in. That's why it's not giving me his option, the option. If I had him in, but you guys get the idea.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that gets confusing is in dot loop, your name and the date are the same box. Here, it's two different. So if you need to date something, it is a separate box. So if you're gonna click on the date signature and then add the date over here, okay? And it's literally just clicking and dragging, and you're gonna put in whatever you guys need to put in. So anytime you need to apply it, you're clicking on the top, putting it into the appropriate places. If I had designated Alan in that, the signing spot, his name would have showed up. But because I was kind of rushing, I forgot. So dates. But I would say, guys, more often than not, this is just kind of like practice makes perfect. You know, I would take a couple of documents from zip forms, do what I did, fill them out for your house, pretend loading them in. I don't think would screw Jenna up at all. Just, you know, just label it as a test. So when you do have a client that needs this, you know, you're not scrambling at the last minute to try to figure it out. So that was good, Lori. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thanks,
welcome.
Jen.
Yep. I mean, and remember, guys, I mean, between the three of us, like, you know, we can always help. So if you're, you know, going to, you know, running into a bind, just call one of us and we can talk you through it. I will send, God help us, I don't think I'd ever want to watch this again myself, but I will send out the recorded version of this. We have probably about 5 minutes left before my Zoom explodes. Anybody else have questions?
No, we'll set.
Mrs. Arnheim?
Thanks.
No, this was really helpful. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you did a great job.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Jen?
Who else? Somebody had a question, I think.
Can you hear me? Lisa
Yes.
Fryer. Okay. If a client forgets to sign a space and they send the email back to you, then what happens?
They wouldn't be able to forget to sign it because it will prompt them saying they have not, right. So
Okay.
the only thing though that can happen is if you say you didn't have a template and you missed a spot, then that could get forgotten because once it goes to the client, it would physically not be, they would not be able to do it without that box designated. So that's why it's important to just kind of take your time to go through it before sending it to them. Because if something does get missed, you're kind of starting from square one again. But on their end, they can't just forget it, won't allow them to complete it until they've seen, you know, or checked off everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll send this out shortly. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Thanks, guys. Good group. Thank you. Talk to you later.